Hello there YouTube, my name is Chuggy and today I'm playing some Battlefield 3, playing some Conquest on CN Crossing, and today it's question time part 6. Again guys, you submitted some literally fantastic questions, some really challenging ones this week, well, today I'll be talking through those and hopefully get through as many of them as possible. To briefly mention the gameplay, it's quite a long one, a 25-minute Conquest game. Hopefully by that you'll be able to tell it's quite a good close game. You see me play all sorts during the course of this, a bit of sniping, a bit of assault, all sorts. So hopefully that'll be good entertainment-wise. And a quick shout-out to Jack Naven on Twitter, who asked for one when I asked for any shout-outs or requests for shout-outs on Twitter. So there you go, sir. And without further ado, let's get on with some questions. So, question 1 this week comes from AlberScott21, and they ask, what do you think BF3 has and hasn't done better than Bad Company 2? Good question. Now, I think what Battlefield 3 has done better over Bad Company 2 is a lot of things. For me, Bad Company 2 was a very solid Battlefield game, but I don't know, there was something there, the spark. It was a good Battlefield game, but not a great Battlefield game. And I think DICE made a few mistakes with it as well. For example, the DLC they released, the Spectat camo, and the skins for the guns. I still, to this day, don't quite understand why they did that. However, they did release one cracking bit of DLC, which I actually never got my hands on. But the sort of onslaught mode, sort of 4 players against AI, I thought that was a great idea. And frankly, something like that, in terms of more than just co-op, you know, players versus environment kind of deal, I think would not go amiss in Battlefield 3. I think Battlefield 3's got the feel right. It's got the, I don't know, the sort of special something which, you know, a Battlefield game needs to have. But what I will say is the Bad Company 2 had map variety like no other. You had desert, snow, urban, you know, I mean, Panama Canal, for example. I love that map because you had a little bit of everything. You had the sight lines, you had the sort of CQC combat. Fantastic. Whereas Battlefield 3, it's all fairly urban or completely sort of, you know, field-like. And I don't know what happened there. I just got warped into a wall. Very strange. Anyway, so yeah, I think what we need, and in fact this kind of leads on to a question shortly, is in Battlefield 3 it needs a bit more map variety in terms of locales, but I'll come on to that in a minute. So anyway, Scott, I hope that answers that question, yeah, great question. Now, next question this week I've kind of already answered, but I'll mention it again briefly, and this comes from Dr. BCDPS3. Buckshot or flechette? Well, I'm using a shotgun, as it so happens at this point, and I have flechette rounds loaded into it. So the flechette basically are little dart-like things, and in Battlefield 3 terms that means penetration and accuracy, whereas buckshot is ball bearings. They spread a bit more, but mean that you don't have to be as sharp with the aim. Basically, you just got to match the ammunition type to how you use the shotguns. If you if you don't mind having to be a little bit more accurate and get a bonus of a little more killing power perhaps, then go for that. If you want the sheer ability to put down a number of, targets in a widish area, buckshot's for you. So that really answers that. Yeah, weird glitch there. You see that when I switched, well, I switched now to the M98B. I got the shotgun sort of crosshair. Bit of a weird one, anyway. So yeah, that's the key difference, and basically it's just up to you. Which you choose. So there you go. So that's that. Next question is from Flippy Floppy Fail, and he asks, and I know it's a he, and yes, I know who that is. Where do you stand on bacon? Well, it's quite easy. I don't stand on it, I eat it. I think that answers that. Thank you, Matt. Now, next question comes from Mr. Honda CB31 or 1300, and they ask, seeing as you're an air cadet, have you ever thought about joining the RAF as an officer? And actually, I just want to say, that's bad times that you got disabled on the line of duty, but I think, irrespective of what nation you may be in at the minute, you've got to respect, what the job armed forces do, risking life and such. Thank you very much for doing that on my behalf, I'll say that. Anyway, would I ever join the RAF? You want to know something? Absolutely. And one thing I've always said to myself, if there's ever the need for, Queen and country, I'm needed, I would sign up in an instant. Joining the RAF now, I'm not so sure. When I was younger, when I was in the Air Cadets, definitely. But when I came to university, I found that doing computer programming satisfied me a lot more. Now, I know that there are those kind of roles within the military, but if I wanted to be in the RAF, I think I would want to be a pilot of sorts, be it probably a transport pilot, because okay, the jet guys might all get the if you will, the sort of glory, flying the fast jets, all the rest. But the transport guys, they do a really, a very important job. And there's quite a lot of skill involved flying, particularly the larger aircraft. So I want to be a pilot, I think, more than a computer science or a programmer, say. And certainly, I'm a programmer at the minute. I'm not sure if I'd want to make the switch. I'm quite enjoying it, but it's certainly a possibility. And yeah, to see what happens down the road. You never know what happens in the future. So, interesting question. Certainly one which had to make me sort of think back. And well, thank you for the question. First of all, here's another question, which is a bit of a tricky one. It comes from Ninja Edit, and they ask, if you were a girl, what would you do? Now, let's tidy those sort of little dirty little thoughts out of the back of our minds. What would I do? Well, to be honest, I don't think I'd do too much differently. I would try and, I don't know, live my life as much as possible to what I have done so far. Now, I hope I'm kind of going along the right tangent here with a question. But what I would be interested in particularly is, for example, I'm making videos of me playing games and whatnot on YouTube. What the reception would be, the reaction would be, if I was, female and doing it. Because certainly in my experience, female commentators, you don't tend to get many of them. I mean, in general, times are changing now, but in general, you didn't used to see that many female gamers at all. But female commentators, I'd be interested just to see, if I'd done everything the same, the difference in position. I'd hope that there would be none, that it's the content which is important. But I know for a fact that some people who upload videos onto YouTube who are female exploit that, and I know for a fact that there's one girl who uploads a lot of stuff, and basically, like, she's partnered, she's got sort of the custom thumbnails. Basically, it's just an arrow pointing at her chest. I kind of go, is that how you get your views, is it? Never mind. So I'll try and do everything I've done so far in the exact same manner. And, well, I'll just be interested, I guess, to see in, hindsight, comparing, to see what the difference would be. So, a great question. A really, tricky one, in fact. Well, thank you, Ninja Edit, for that. But here's another really great question from Eldor07. If anything was possible, what would your dream life be like? Well, an ambition of mine is to race cars. I love cars a lot. There's something very pleasing about the fact that it's sort of a blend between man and machine. A bit of a fail there. I didn't catch that guy on the right hand side as I ran by. No, anyway, cars. Yeah, there's it's a blend between man and machine. You need the machine to be tip top, very clever. You need the man to be very tip top, very clever. There's something very appealing about it. And if I could have, if you will, a dream life, I'd be racing cars in some form or another, be it tin top or open wheel or rally or something. Just racing cars. I love to be around cars. Unfortunately, I can't afford to own a car at the minute, which sucks, but I just love the mechanical nature of them, that, they tend to take on personalities. I mean, my parents' car, for example, is like a workhorse. It's been going, let me get this right, 20-odd years. No major failures or anything like that. It's got like a personality of, I'm not going to stop, I'm going to keep going. And I know it's probably, some psychological daftness in my brain which is making it, oh look, it's got a personality, but still. Racing cars, cars in general, they're special things, and I'd love to, well, I guess spend more time with cars, race them perhaps, I don't know. So my dream life, car driver, racing car driver, let's say. Kind of a childish one, but still, it's something I'd love to do. And in fact, I think there's a question later on about things on my bucket list. So I'll save my sort of follow up for that. Anyway, thank you, Meldo07, for the great question. Now, Crew Extreme will ask for my stance on frag rounds. Well, personally, I think they're wonderful. I think they're a great and valuable addition to Battlefield. The choice of ammunition types allows you to be a bit more varied in your gameplay and allows you to to vary things up. A lot of people will kind of go, well, what are you on about? Frag rounds are terrible, and I can understand that, but the thing with the frag rounds is that they've got a bad rep because of, obviously, the USAS 12 frag round combo. Fully automatic, firing like a rocket launcher kind of deal. Yeah, that isn't cricket, and I'm very anti-USAS 12 frag round combo. The only time you'd ever see me use it is when I've been killed. I think I have sort of a rule with myself and the guys I usually play with. If we're killed like 3 or 4 times by USAS frag, we bring out our USAS frag, something like that. That's the only time you'd ever see me use it. I don't think it's a very balanced combination, and thankfully it is being addressed in the up and coming patch whenever that appears. And perhaps now I know why that guy wasn't moving up the corridor. Never mind. Anyway, the frag rounds themselves are very good. I like them a lot. They give variety, and when they are, I don't know, better integrated with the shotguns. For example, the 870 MCS, a very accurate shotgun when you compare all the shotguns in game. With frag rounds, you won't get the rounds down range quickly, but they'll be accurate. And the frag round's specialty is it doesn't do as much damage, but it suppresses, and if you can keep people stuck in cover, you can still get the damage done to them ultimately. So I think frag rounds on their own, fine. The USAS 12 frag round combo, not so cool. Well, it will be addressed, and I'm pleased that it is being addressed finally, and hopefully that there won't be any sort of crazy combinations like that in, well, later iterations of Battlefield or Battlefield 3. So that's my stance on it. Thank you for the question, and yeah, it's kind of a controversial one, but that's how my take on it anyway. So, next question this week comes from Megadude599, and actually this is kind of the follow-up question to the Battlefield 3 Bad Company 2 one. Would you like a map which is snowy, and when it's sort of, you know, if there was a map which was snowy, would you like to get some, like, for example, snow camouflage on there? Absolutely. The one thing which Battlefield is missing is, you know, a great big desert map, and I'm not talking, you know, Gulf of Oman or anything like that, but a plain, for example, just a clear plain, maybe a couple buildings, but just all out, well, just think, kind of spoiler, Thunder Run, that kind of environment, just flat plain, tank battles, infantry zipping around in buggies or something, crazy times, that's what I'd love to see. Snow as well, because fighting in snow is like a completely different experience. You've got to manage, for example, snow blindness and things like that. Absolutely. In both cases, I'd love to see a snow map appear. Bad Company 2 had some great snow maps, and snow camo, why not? More the merrier. Certainly, I'd love to see that. Anyway, the Henry ZX asks, how would you suggest finding people to squad up with? You know, and randomly finding people. How do you get a good squad together? Well, let me kind of tell you a little story of how my squad formed. So, initially we were all sort of individual people, and we met up just by chance, really. And from my experience, it's the chance meetings which lead to better friends. You know, being matchmade, I don't know, between other people, it works for sure. You know, you get a good balance of people, but I don't know, the chemistry, the camaraderie just isn't there, and that will break down over time, and you will, I don't know, start to lose faith in people, or faith in people. The group of people I play with, we all met by chance, so we all kicked off in Rainbow Six and Rainbow Six Vegas, Rainbow Six Vegas 2, and well, we went from there. But basically, the reason we met up and we carried on playing was because we had microphones, in short. You know, we chatted to each other, and of course, well, the situation on PSN back then was not many people had microphones. So if you had microphones, people were more willing to get on the mic and talk. Situation is a bit better now. But if you want to, you know, meet people randomly, by all means, get yourself on the microphone and start talking to people. Help them to help you, and, you know, put yourself out there as, you know, someone who, well, for instance, takes the game seriously. Because obviously, you know, players want to do well when they play games. You know, this is kind of like sport these days. You know, you're all out for the win. Or you should be in Battlefield anyway, and if you're willing to go the extra mile, often that will draw players to you, and with any luck, if you meet, you know, just a couple of people, 2 or 3, you will find yourself winning considerably more games. And it's great when you meet new people, obviously, you make new friends, all the rest, so it's really just a case of putting yourself out there a bit, you know, getting on the mics, for example, you know, chatting, and, you know, just having fun. I mean, it's a game, ultimately, at the end, you know, have fun with it, and people will respect that, and they'll want to play more. So that's what I find works, and that's, you know, what I recommend basically. So get out there, you know, suggest, you know, what you could be doing, that kind of thing, and you'll find the good players. They'll gravitate towards you, and once that starts happening, it's kind of a snowball effect, 'cause they'll introduce you to new people, and hopefully that will click, etc. Not all the time, but still, it's better than nothing. So it's one of those cases of start, you know, with one little bit, and hopefully it will snowball, and that's certainly what happened with my group of people. Eventually we had like 7 or 8 of us playing games, and it was glorious. It was very good fun, and well, we're still going to this day, so I can't really say much more than that. Good times all around. Anyway, thank you for the question there, the Henry ZX. I hope that helps you. Kind of a tricky one, certainly, but if you're willing to go sort of or make the first step, certainly that will help 9 times out of 10, at least in my experience anyway. So, here's the bucket question. Niosquivian, well, I've made a mess of that, my apologies, sir, asks 2 questions. What would be the first thing on your bucket list? Well, I kind of alluded to it a bit already, I guess, but to race cars. Don't care if it be open wheel or tin top, just to, take part in at least one serious motor race. Be it karting or something, I don't know. It's something to do. Obviously it's dangerous, it's expensive, but still, I love, car racing and all the rest, and I just love to do it for real, just to see what it was like. I've been karting several times. Boy, the adrenaline kick you get off that, it's something else. But yeah, motor race of sorts, that would be on my bucket list, and that's definitely, if it's not the top, it's up at the top. So that's that. And where do you think gun technology will go in the future? Well, really interesting question. I'm a great futurist, and I tend to read around sort of future developments and that kind of thing. And certainly from what I've been reading, the future is magnetic, and even now things are being developed along the lines of magnets. So, popular science fiction tend to go with like laser guns or ray guns, that kind of thing. Personally, I see weaponry not being laser driven, let's say, but magnetic, so essentially rail guns. If you've ever played Metal Gear Solid, the main armament on Metal Gear Rex was a railgun to launch nuclear weapons without sort of a heat signature or anything like that, and that was kind of the selling point. You could launch a missile, no heat source, it'd be like a missile wasn't fired in the first place. I see, assault rifles and things of the future working with magnets, just, projecting a projectile using just the force of magnets to push it along a tube, very quickly of course, and well, the rest would be history. Just gone, rinse repeat, and that's where I see it going really. I don't think we'll get, laser based or energy based weaponry, just because I think the technology, you'd need a good couple 100 years perhaps. We've just about mastered firing a laser, a constant laser, but firing it in bursts and getting it to do damage, or considerable enough damage to replace a bullet. I think we're way off. Just modifying it to use magnets as a projector, I can see working, and magnets are not only a lot more efficient, but they can project things a damn sight quicker as well, so that's where I personally see it going. Future, prove me wrong. Great question, certainly another one where you kind of have to think a bit, so great question, thank you very much for it. Here's an interesting question from Giga Goblin, and they ask, what do you think of the Jurassic Warfare / Dinosaur Mode conspiracy? Would you like it? Would I like it if it came out? Well, the backstory, if you haven't heard about this, is there was an image leaked. I forget if it was from DICE or if it was just a fan favourite thing. Essentially, there was a thread. I think it was on 4chan from someone who worked at Activision, who were trying to find out why the initial Modern Warfare 3 trailer, which debuted at E3, was so badly received. Basically, 4chan being 4chan trolled, and they went, not enough dinosaurs, not enough dinosaurs. And it kind of became a joke amongst the sort of first-person shooter community. And lo and behold, I forget if it's a few days or a few weeks later, an image appeared, and I believe it was from DICE, of a, was it Tyrannosaurus Rex? A type of dinosaur, and it was the Tyrannosaurus Rex Warfare Pack, something like that. And obviously the community went, whoa, well, this is fantastic. And certainly, actually, it was Thunder Run, the gameplay, I think again it was E3, they showed off a dinosaur as part of the, again, spoiler, Thunder Run, you start by looking at a toy dinosaur, and they kind of go, dinosaur, amazing! And certainly from there, an image appeared, speculation grew. I think it was all meant to be a joke, but you want to know something, a lot of people are calling for it, and I imagine, DICE are the creative kind of people. I could see it happening, and would I like to see it? Yeah, why not? A little bit of fun. There's never any harm in having a laugh, and certainly, Bad Company, for example, the Bad Company series, it's a little more humour, a little, humorous take on the Battlefield sort of formula, and I can see it doing very well. So bring on Tyrannosaurus Warfare, don't eat me. Great question, I'd love to see it anyway. Ooh, look at that, I'm running out of time. I better hurry up here. So, the PEM1, who actually is in this game on the opposing team. Hello, PEM. Question, what type of game genre will be the next top seller? And in fact, this kind of leads on to another question, which JDBZ KWBSK asked. Kind of a similar question, but, you know, if I had to invent a new genre of game, what would it be, and what would the game be about? And, well, the PEM asks, what do you think the next sort of top game genre will be? I personally think it's going to be something indie, and I think it's going to be kind of like Minecraft in terms of it's user-created, but it's more like Little Big Planet in terms of they give you the tools and you just go nuts. So Minecraft is brilliant because obviously, you know, you are given very basic tools, you know, and you have to build things to build further things, etc. And that's why people love it. I see something indie, Little Big Planet-esque being massive, utterly massive. I mean, for example, Happy Wheels, if you haven't heard of that, that's a game where basically you have a wheel-based thing and users create levels and, well, hilarity ensues. Very popular games, and I see something along those lines, just user-created content, and I think that's where, just in general, games will be going. The ability for players to leave their mark on the game, do something a little bit different. I think that's going to be where things go. And would you call that a genre? I guess. I don't know. Certainly that's where I see games going anyway. It's going to be more of a toolbox, a way to craft your experience. I don't know. So yeah, that's where I think it's going. So, and, well, I'd hope that would be a big seller. Little Big Planet seems to have done well, so I hope that kind of answers those two questions. We're going to have to speed up a bit now. The Cove SF asks, if I was given complete access to Battlefield 3, what would I change? Or what would I think about changing? I would definitely look at making sniper rifles one-shot kills at close range, and I know for a fact that DICE are actually implementing this. Purely because, from a realism standpoint, a sniper rifle round at very close range would decapitate you. In fact, at long range, the M98B would decapitate you anyway. That's what I would do, and I know for a fact that they are actually implementing that in-game, which pleases me. If I had to change something else, I might need to get back to you on that one, because to be honest, I'm really happy with the way that Battlefield 3 plays out as it is. The USAS is annoying, but these things happen. I don't know, I think I'd have to sit and look at the game as it is now. I'll tell you one thing I would change. The anti-air, right? I know that the anti-air gun is meant for anti-air purposes, and just by nature it would be good against infantry, but still, you get people just rolling around in the anti-air gun, it kind of annoys me. Sometimes I just, you know, oh look, we're trying to not play our role here, let's, you know, not go after the aircraft, let's go kill infantry. I kind of go, you're not quite getting it. Anyway, one of those two. And I think I'd just have to look at the game in general to decide what would happen. Anyway, great question. I'm sorry I haven't really answered it, but I'm just looking at the time. I've got a few more to go. So hopefully I'll be able to get through them all. Anyway, so next question. If you could live in any video game, what would it be? And that comes from Jack Attack 989. That's an easy one. Metal Gear Solid. I love, well, it's very futuristic, very sci-fi, but realistically placed. I can quite easily imagine it happening. Besides, the ability to have nanomachines and things within your blood to amplify your body, it's kind of Crisis-esque. I like the idea of that. Actually, Deus Ex Human Revolution kind of talked about that, about human augmentation. Would you do it? Definitely Metal Gear Solid. I like that kind of future where, well, I don't like the fact that, well, I won't go into spoilers. I don't like particularly the events of Metal Gear Solid, how things are utilised by certain parties, but I like that universe, let's say. So that's an easy one. I'll wrap that up there before I leak major spoilers. So thank you, Jack Attack 989. BBX Princess, do you have a pet? At the moment, no. I used to have goldfish when I was younger, but, well, my gran bought me one, and it was on its last legs. I didn't know this, I was like 5 or 6 at the time. And I was, you know, like a kid, ooh, amazing, amazing, for 5 minutes. 2 or 3 days later, the damn thing died. And my parents were like, oh my god, what are we going to do? So they actually went out and sneakily bought another fish. They only told me that afterwards, but still. I had a goldfish, and I didn't particularly take very good care of it. If I could get a pet now, probably a dog. I quite like dogs. Cats, not so keen, but dog, I think I'd you know, seriously contemplate about getting a dog. But mind you, I'd be kind of wary of it. You know, it has needs. I'd have to make sure I could satisfy them. Anyway, that sounds really dodgy. JJ4547 asks if you could create a new map in BF3, what would it be? Snow maps. I think I kind of answered that. And one brought down. So I butchered that. Have I ever played Battlefield 2142? I have not. Kind of wraps in with the future gun stuff. I have not, but I am aware. Basically, they ask, have you heard of Titan mode? I have heard of Titan mode, and I want to see it in Battlefield 3. Concept is massive enemy base. You must assault and destroy it. And this is in 2143 is a massive flying like aircraft carrier. I would love to see that in Battlefield 3, just for the sheer epicness. It would be awesome. Anyway, my apologies to the last few of you. I really had to whip through those questions very quickly. But I hope I answered them. And guys, thank you for all these amazing questions. Look, 25 minutes and I basically almost ran out of time. In fact, well, it's just gone to black. I'll leave it like that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your questions. If you have any burning questions you want me to answer, please do leave them down in the comments below. Anything and everything will be answered within reason. If you could leave the video a like, dislike, whatever you believe it deserves, that would be fantastic. And if you're new to my videos and you want to see some more, you can always subscribe. So guys, a brief update on what the next challenge Chuggy will be. Well done to SP33R0 Mint, who challenged me to knife only. You have to have a positive KD and capture 3 objectives. That's my challenge. Find out next Wednesday if I can meet it. Anyway, guys, thank you so very much for watching. As always, leave those burning questions if you have any, and I'll see you next time out on the battlefield.